Hello, I'm Wendell from the Grievance-it podcast, and this is Senior Consumer News brought to you by the Imagine Labs Network. This new segment is built for seniors, retirees, caregivers, and families who want clear, straight to the point consumer information without the noise. Because let's be honest, a lot of people are being hit hard right now. Higher prices, confusing bills, Medicare scams, bank fraud, fake customer service calls, subscription traps, insurance problems, prescription costs, and companies that make everything harder than it needs to be. That's where Senior Consumer News comes in. We're going to break down the issues that affect older Americans in plain English. No panic, no politics for the sake of politics, no talking over your head. Just real consumer information you can actually use. If there's a scam going around, we'll tell you what to watch for. If prices are rising, we'll explain why. If a company is taking advantage of people, we'll call it out. And if there's something you can do to protect yourself, your money, your home, or your family, we'll make it clear. This is not about fear, this is about awareness. Because seniors should not have to fight through fine print, phone menus, hidden fees, or corporate runaround just to be treated fairly. And families shouldn't have to find out too late that someone they love was targeted. So I'll be here with regular updates, short and simple, focused on the consumer issues that matter most to seniors and working families. Again, I'm Wendell from the Grievance-it podcast. This is Senior Consumer News brought to you by the Imagine Labs Network. And for more consumer information, visit Grievance-it.com. Because protecting consumers starts with keeping people informed.
Ground beef is starting to feel like it needs a credit check. Seriously, the average price of ground beef hit about $6.70 a pound in March. That's not steakhouse beef. That's taco night. That's spaghetti meat. That's I'm just trying to feed my family without taking out a small business loan. And now, here's where it gets interesting. The Justice Department is reportedly investigating the big meat packing companies Tyson, Cargill, JBS USA, and National Beef over possible antitrust issues in the beef market. Those four companies process about 85% of the grain-fed cattle used for beef in America. Now let me be clear, an investigation does not mean they're guilty. But when four companies control that much of the pipeline, and prices are still crushing consumers, people have a right to ask questions. Because the problem isn't just one thing, part of it is supply. The U.S. cattle herd is historically tight after years of drought, high feed costs, and ranchers reducing herds. So yes, there are real supply issues, but consumers are tired of hearing it's complicated every time the price goes up. Eggs go up, complicated. Gas go up, complicated. Beef go up, complicated. Funny how the explanation is always complicated, but the bill is very simple. You pay more. And this matters because beef is not some luxury side item for millions of families. It's a basic grocery staple. When ground beef gets expensive, families start swapping meals, stretching portions, buying cheaper proteins, or skipping things altogether. So here's what you can do. First, compare the price per pound, not the package price. That big family pack can still be a bad deal. Second, watch for manager specials and freeze what you can. Third, rotate proteins, chicken, pork, beans, lentils, eggs if they're down in your area, whatever keeps the budget alive. And fourth, pay attention to this DOJ investigation, because if the market is fair, fine. But if companies are gaming the system while consumers are getting squeezed, that's not inflation, that's extraction. Big corporations may be getting a refund. And no, not from customer service. This is way bigger. After the Supreme Court ruled that certain Trump-era tariffs were unconstitutional, businesses that paid those import taxes can now apply to get their money back. And we're not talking lunch money. We're talking about a refund process tied to roughly $166 billion in tariffs paid by importers. Companies can now submit claims through Customs and Border Protection, and some refunds may take around 60 to 90 days to process. Now here's where consumers need to pay attention. When tariffs went up, what did companies say? Sorry, prices are going up because our costs went up. And a lot of those costs got passed down to us through higher prices on clothes, electronics, parts, appliances, tools, you name it. So now the real question is, if companies get refunded, do consumers get refunded too? Because if the customer helped eat the cost, then shouldn't the customer see some relief when that money comes back? That's the part nobody wants to talk about. Some companies may return money to customers. Some may lower prices. Some may keep it and call it margin recovery, which is corporate language for thanks for paying, we'll take it from here. Even companies overseas are looking at refunds. AOS, for example, said it's pursuing about $9.4 million in U.S. tariff refunds. And politically, this is already getting weird. Trump reportedly praised companies that haven't rushed to request refunds and criticized the ones that are trying to get their money back. But forget the politics for a second. This is a consumer issue because tariffs don't magically stop at the port. They travel through the supply chain and land right in your shopping cart. So if corporations pass the pain down to customers on the way in, they should not get to pocket all the refund on the way out. That's not patriotism. That's not business genius. That's double dipping with a briefcase. That is not patriotism. That is not business genius. It is double dipping. It may be about what consumers are owed. And that's exactly why we need to keep asking one simple question: where did the money go? Fast food used to be cheap, fast, and at least decent. Now, it's expensive, slower, and somehow worse. You paying like 12, 15 bucks for a meal and still leaving like, what was that? Here's what's actually going on. Fast food chains are cutting costs everywhere. Smaller portions, cheaper ingredients, less staff in the building. So yeah, your food takes longer, and when you get it, it's not even hitting the same. And at the same time, prices are way up. Why? Because these companies figured out something during COVID. People will keep coming back anyway. So now you've got this perfect storm. Higher prices, lower quality, fewer workers, and you're the one eating it, literally. And here's the part most people don't realize. A lot of fast food meals are now the same price as casual sit-down spots. So you're not even saving money anymore. You're just getting less. That's why it feels off, because it is. Fast food didn't just get expensive, it got worse. What if I told you the price of your groceries might not just depend on the store anymore? It might depend on you. Yeah, not the apples, not the cereal, not the chicken, you. There's a growing concern around something called surveillance pricing, where companies use personal data, shopping habits, location, browsing history, loyalty cards, apps, and algorithms to figure out what price you might be willing to pay. So two people could be looking at the same product, same store, same day, but the system may know one person usually pays full price, while the other waits for a deal. And guess who might get charged more? Exactly. The loyal customer gets treated like a piñata. Maryland just moved to become the first state to ban this kind of data-driven grocery pricing. The law is aimed at food retailers and delivery services using personal data or dynamic pricing to change prices on consumers. Violations could reportedly bring fines up to $10,000 for a first offense. Now companies will say, oh, this helps us offer better deals. And sometimes maybe it does. But let's be real. When corporations discover a new tool, it usually does not end with, how do we make Eric's eggs cheaper? It ends with, how much can we squeeze before people notice? And this is why grocery apps, loyalty cards, and delivery apps matter. That free discount may not really be free if the data you give them helps decide what you pay later. So here's the consumer tip. Compare prices without logging in. Check the same item on another device. Look at in-store prices versus app prices. And don't assume your loyalty card is always loyal to you. Because the future of shopping may not be one price for everybody. It may be one price for every profile. And that's not convenience. That's a digital shakedown with a barcode. Grievance-it.com. Empowering accountability.
We have finally solved the equation to dealing with corporations. It's actually rudimentary.